So, ladies and gentlemen, you're welcome to another session with the Thriving Immigrant Woman. A week ago, we spoke about mentorship. And on today's session, I have two great men of influence. I have Dr. Madison Ngafeeson, who is not only a mentor, but a leader and has been doing so outstanding in our generation. I also have with me Mr. Sangye Fidelis. He's a mental health nurse practitioner and also a family nurse practitioner. And here we are. As the year rolls to an end, it is my greatest wish and desire that you're fully equipped with everything you have to kickstart a new year. So as we bring to you the importance of mentorship and what you will benefit being a mentee or being a mentor to another person, please take down notes and send in as many questions as you have as we look to address them either now or subsequently. Dr. Ngafeeson and Mr. Fidelis Sangye, you are highly welcome on this platform. And on this platform, this is a place which God has bestowed upon my heart. And the idea is to make sure as many as we have in the world, everyone is equipped with what they need and what they can get to be a better version of themselves. Again, you are so much welcome. So as we engage in our conversation of today, we are talking about mentorship, and you are going to be trailing us on key ways we can either be a mentee or a mentor in order to kickstart our potentials. If I have to pose my first question today, I would like to find out from you how you personally define mentorship and what mentorship actually means to you.
I'll let Dr. Ngafeeson go first.
Well, thank you for having me. It's a joy to be on this platform, and what a big opportunity to be able to share some thoughts with you today. So thank you for having me. You know, a mentor is simply a trusted guide who shares wisdom, experience, and encouragement with somebody usually less experienced than themselves. It could be at a personal level or it could be at a professional level. But the key of mentorship is really relationship. It's a relationship that helps the person that is being mentored to grow in diverse ways, either personally or professionally. So that's how I would define a mentor.
Thank you so much for that great response. Mrs. Sangye, do you have anything to add on that?
Absolutely. First of all, Yvette, it's an honor and a privilege to be on your show. I know that, you have been kind of trying to get me on here for a while. So thank God that we're able to kind of look for the time to make this happen. So thank you for the honor. Yeah, just to add to what Dr. Ngafeeson has already put forth, I would say mentorship is really a purposeful relationship that is rooted in trust and wisdom and a long-term commitment to another person's growth. And unlike coaching, which basically focuses on performance and skill, or supervision, which emphasizes oversight or an accountability, mentorship speaks to the whole person. The person's values, the person's characters, and the direction. So a mentor does not just guide what you do, they basically help shape who you literally become. So that is how I view it.
Thank you so much. It looks like you're way ahead in the spirit of already answering the follow-up question, which was what is the difference between coaching and being a mentor. And if I have to share a little bit, I remember 13 years ago when I came and my husband was introducing me to friends, and fortunately for me, I had Mr. Sangye, and not knowing, being trained as a teacher back home, not knowing I was going to engage in nursing, it was challenging. And from the start, he's been there. So when I count mentors, he's one of those persons I have known. And just like he said, it's a lifelong, it's not just partial thing you have to engage in, which I really do appreciate, So the second thing I want us to talk on is why do you actually believe mentorship is so important in today's fast-paced world, especially for people trying to find direction? And one reason I ask this question is when I come across most of our teenagers, young adults, most of them feel like they know it all. Most of them feel like, yeah, because I'm good in technology, you're just old school. I don't think I can benefit from you. So what I really want the viewers and everyone listening to us today to understand is, can you share with us, why do you believe mentorship is that important?
I think mentorship is very important because, put it this way, if you have to leave here and go somewhere, it doesn't really matter what the destination was. And you have two choices. One of them to just drive with somebody who already knows that destination, or two, figure it out to that destination. I think common wisdom would say that just go with somebody who knows where they are going and who knows where it is.
Yes.
Right. And so, you see, mentorship provides you that opportunity to go to where you want to go to in the shortest time possible, and with guidance and wisdom that can help you really get there faster. Now, if you have known anybody who knows a particular destination and who is used to that road, guess what? They can tell you if there's a building construction or road construction going on, and then instead of just telling you, well, instead of just saying, well, just go, this is the path that you take, they can begin to warn you, say, well, you know what? If you want to go there in 30 minutes, like I told you, you might want to not leave at about 5 o'clock or so, because there will be traffic, and you know what? People are getting out of work, and then normally that road is not the best to take at that time. So it just makes sense that if you want to really go fast, then you have to seek the advice of somebody who has been there before and who knows the road. You see, it was Sharma who defined leadership as, he said that leaders are people who know the way, who show the way, and who go the way. So I would say that if you are looking therefore for somebody who doesn't just know the way, but who can show you the way and who is gone the way, then just look for a mentor. It makes your learning very fast and you get to your destination really quick.
Yeah. You mentioned about making your journey fast, and I want to attest to another aspect of that, which is making that journey a little bit more smooth. Because me being a mentor right now, after being mentored by Mr. Sangye, I have two of my friends. Guess what? They won't forge ahead to attempt a part of another degree unless Yvette has already gone ahead.
Take your insight. Right.
I'm telling you. And the reason is, this girl, they will say she can dare anything she wants to, and she always overcome the challenges. So I know if I'm coming behind her, I already have assurance she's going to hold my hand and she's going to take me through it. And I really attest that is the part of a mentor. I remember when I was in nursing school, some nights on Monday, I'll be like, hey, Mr. Sangye is not working. And he'll be like, send me a snapshot. But I'm sending him a snapshot of my assignment. Then he'll call back and say, what do you think? Then I will tell him what I think about the assignment. And he'll be like, okay, this is what you think. This is what I'm saying. And it gives you great enlightenment on certain things. So just like you said, you're not only going fast, but you also having it, I would say, a little bit sweeter than what your mentor had, because he's going to use your mistakes, and that is how he's going to perfect. And I remember one of these proverbs that says that a mentor is the aim and the purpose is not just only for you to produce something like you, but something better than who you are. And that I hope whatever we are doing here today, it's going to really improve and change other people's mentality and also change their career journeys. So thank you, Mr. Sangye. Do you have anything to throw on that?
Well, in essence, we can acknowledge that our world today is really overwhelmed by information, but literally lacking some clarity. And mentorship provides you with that grounding. Many people are literally so busy, especially in the Western world,
Yes.
But no sense of direction. So a mentor literally slows that pace and offers perspective and some anchor decisions in purpose. Because when you have purpose, it literally pulls you towards your goal. Mentorship gives people that permission to ask very hard questions, make some mistakes along the way, and grow with some guidance rather than doing it in isolations through trial and failure. So accelerates your process of growth.
That's wonderful. I love the fact that we already answered the next question, which was based on our experiences. How do we accelerate the personal? I wanted us to talk on how we accelerate our personal and professional growth compared to learning alone. And the fact that we already brought out two important aspects, which is that aspect of having that right guidance to make it faster, and you knowing that you always have support and someone to lean to also gives you that assurance and confidence in yourself. So on that note, if I have to ask, now I don't feel like graduating from being a mentee, because every day I'm texting Mr. Sangye, every day I'm calling his phone. But I understand that I'm bugging his phone, and sometimes I'll still say, hey, I have this patient is so please, I need your guidance. What medication do you think, or what strategy do you think I have to use? So in as much as he's gearing and training me, I know, and through your training and your experience, Dr. Ngafeeson, I know that at a certain point he would also refer a student and say, Yvette, hey, it's your turn, I'm this busy, can you help out with this? So I'm learning, and I'm also preparing myself towards that. So my next question would be, what qualities do you really believe make a great mentor? And what, if I have to look for one, or if someone has to look for a mentor, what are the qualities you want me to look for in this person?
Well, I think that a great mentor, number one, is somebody who's truly concerned about people.
Okay.
Because a mentorship relationship is first and foremost a relationship, and there must be someone who have a genuine concern for you. If they don't really care about you, then they cannot really make a good mentor, because they need to care about you. Number two, they need to be knowledgeable or skilled in the area that they're offering mentorship in. You see, because mentorship is not just about knowing the way, but going the way.
Going. Thank you.
And so they have to have gone the way. And then the third thing is what I call the spirit of mentorship. You see, because mentorship is not only taught, mentorship is caught. So there is a spirit of a mentor. So when I mentor people, I don't just want them to hear what I'm saying. I want them to feel what I feel, experience what I experience, even when those are not spoken. So that's why when I mentor people, I get to make them come into my private space. They come to my home, they get to know my family, they know my wife, they know my children, they see the way I lead in my home. They come, stay, spend some time, because there are things that that you can never teach by way of talking, but that can be captured in an experience in a way that is unforgettable. For those of you who are people of faith, you would hear Jesus say, the words I speak to you, they are spirit and they are life. So what that means is this is not just vocabulary, arranged in a very nice way to bring out a particular point. There is a spirit of a mentor that if you catch, will do you more good than even what they might actually say to you. So I would say that a mentor should have at least those three capabilities: the care that they have for the people, the skill that they have, and then they should carry the spirit of what they're trying to mentor others into.
Thank you. I like the fact that you're addressing the aspect of you carrying the spirit, and that reminds me of the fact that with our world fast growing, we are sometimes just moved to engage in so many things without us sitting to evaluate and find out, was this what I was called for? Because sometimes when you turn not to focus on your purpose and what you were called for, you just do it because you have to do it, either for the payment or just because you want to either get an applaud from other people. But I believe from what you have explained, that was just consolidating purpose into what you're doing. Because when you have that calling and that spirit of it, you will do it with caution. Doing it, know that you're breathing life into another person. You will be patient with that mentee. You'll be able to be empathetic to know that, hey, if I'm mentoring a pregnant woman like Mr. Sangye was doing, you need to be patient. Sometimes we have when the hormones seem to be flying
Yeah.
up in the sky and she seems not to understand whatever you're saying. Or if I'm mentoring somebody who mentally is slow in understanding, then I have to break down some terminology. So thank you so much for that response. Mr. Sangye, do you have anything to throw on that, please?
So there are 4 character traits which I strive for, and which is what has really kind of also enabled me to be a better mentor as I do self-examination periodically. And those include humility, consistency, integrity, and really genuine care for other people. And, as humans, we can discern when somebody genuinely cares about us. And with that spirit of discernment, if you know that somebody genuinely cares, you're much more open or much more inclined to even listen to what they have to offer. So a genuine mentor should really be able to listen carefully and willing to be honest, even in very difficult situations. And so that's really, really what I aspire, to look for those 4 character traits. Lead by example, as Dr. Ngafeeson mentioned before. And those character traits, again, are humility, consistency, integrity, and genuine care.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm grateful about that. Mr. Sangye, you spoke about humility, and this is going to take us to the next question. There is something about humility that speaks to your person. Now that we've kind of portrayed the characteristics of who or what we should look for in a mentor, I want us to talk about the mentee. Sometimes you want to give in your all. Sometimes you're so interested in someone that you want to see them become the best version of themselves, but you're not getting that feedback. I would say you're not getting that vibes to see that person is matching your energy. And now I want us to let the people know, if I have to be a mentee, what do I have to bring into that space? How do I have to come into that relationship? What characteristics do I need to bring if I really want to be a mentee and I want to be successful at what I'm looking forward to?
First of all, that person has to have a teachable spirit, because if they are not willing to be teachable, guess what? You already hit a roadblock right there. And secondly, they have to be accountable. Some people feel like, well, there is no need for me to be accountable to anybody. After all, I'm already in America. I can make my money. I can make my decisions. If you don't get to that point where you have that teachable spirit and be accountable and, take some initiative with those 3, those 3 values, I believe you can really, really become a good mentee, and you basically make the mentor's job a lot easier. And growth is bound to happen when those character traits are in place.
Thank you. Anything on that, Dr. Ngafeeson?
Yeah, so I have almost the same 3 points that he said. So, you have to be a learner. Every mentee must be a lifelong learner. If you cannot learn, you cannot be mentored. Full stop. So you can close the door, go home, because if you are not willing to open up for learning, you cannot be mentored. Then he mentioned accountability, but let me talk about responsibility a little bit. So when you come to a mentor and then they give you advice or they give you some kind of guidance, you have to take responsibility to act on that. And next time when you come back to me as a mentor, I want to see accountability. What does accountability mean? Accountability says, you told me last time to do this. This is what I did, and this is the result I'm bringing back. Now, if every time I meet you, right, I tell you things, that are never acted upon. And next time you come and ask me more things, I am going to find out what happened to the last thing I told you.
Yes, you're right.
So that is where accountability comes in.
Yes.
So you have to take responsibility to do what you need to do, but then you have to take accountability to report on what has been done. And that is what will make the mentorship process continue to go on. In fact, I will never mentor anybody unless I find that these three things happening. I believe that they are teachable. I believe that they are responsible. And number three, I believe that they are accountable. If these three are not answered, I will not even waste my time, at least not now.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. While you were speaking, this just dropped in my spirit, and I was trying to find the relationship and how we can keep that space. You know, sometimes our mentors, you can meet mentors that have never had a relationship like friends or any family relationship with you. And people are forced to look at those relationships differently. They would prefer to take the ones I've never come into contact with seriously. But sometimes when your mentor becomes like a blood relative, I notice that sometimes those relationships are taken for granted. And my next follow-up question was, now that we've spoken about a mentor and we've also proven some of the positive and the most important characteristics our mentees need to possess, how do we maintain that relationship? Because relationships are things that can end up breaking or being a halt to your career. So if we don't know how to keep that important relationship or set those boundaries, and then there's going to be a great problem. So the question here is, how do we maintain that relationship, and how do we set boundaries around that relationship to make sure that it continues to be effective? That's you, Dr. Ganson.
Yeah. So first and foremost, I want to say, that my whole life has been about mentorship. Really, I was mentored really very early, and there are mentors that I've kept for about 20 years. So I know what mentorship is all about. People that are in my life that have been there for a long time. They can tell you when I was, just making my very first steps, and they can tell you where I am right now. So what keeps that relationship is the fact that you continue to value them for what they bring into your life. You see, because somebody said that, the virtue that you apportion to people will determine the virtue that you get out of them.
Wonderful.
If you become complacent and you become careless about that relationship, then you will tap carelessness out of it too. Right? But if you value that relationship and you guard that relationship with all your might, guess what? You would get the virtue that comes from that relationship. But not only that, the other thing is, again, the sense of accountability.
Yes.
If you are not making progress with the information and the wisdom that has already been committed to you, then you are disregarding that relationship, because the relationship was because of that exchange.
Based on,
If that exchange is no longer working, then why are you there? Maybe some other reason, but then that is not a mentorship relationship. It could be any other kind of relationship, but it's not mentorship, because mentorship has to do with the thing that brought you to them and the fact that that exchange continues to happen, and you continue to show proof that you are gaining from that relationship. And so that the person can look back and say, well, because mentorship is like an investment. Somebody's investing their life's knowledge, their lives' wisdom into you. Then you had better done the least, which is to act on it and then bring back results.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. That we really need to know that the values and the people who God brings our way, we need to value them and not just put a price tag to it, but hold it like silver or gold, because they are difficult and hard to come across. With the way the world is so busy, when you have people like that to mentor and to guide you through, then we really, really need to be serious about it and hold it in great esteem. Thank you so much, sir. So as we move ahead, I just want to share with you a special heart I have for my immigrants. And why am I falling back to the immigrants? 15 years ago, I was an immigrant in the United States. Mr. Sangye and I were talking the other day, and he was sharing his journey, and I shared a little bit about him. And as I grow in my career, God is giving me a special place in my heart for immigrants. I'm trying to see how much, based on my own experiences, my own challenges, what I've been through, how can I make it better? So as I'm learning to become a better mentor, I want you to speak to a particular group of people today for me, which are my immigrants. A little bit about me. Having been back home with my parents, never had the opportunity to travel out. The first time I traveled, I was leaving Bamenda to Buea. That was my first journey. I got to Buea. From Buea, I went back to Bamenda. It was not a good experience, even when I was traveling to the United States. Even though I met family here, it wasn't that easy. Some fights and challenges I had to go through by myself. Some you would have support, because it's not every challenge is that the people you have around you will have answers to. So for my immigrants, a lot of us that are coming to the United States, we're seeking greener pastures. We're seeking to become better versions of ourselves. We're seeking to either forge into new careers we've never been to. I was trained as a teacher. I'm now a nurse practitioner. A nurse, back home, I would never have a 10 on 20 in math. But I came to America, I had to study math to be able to get through school. So this is what I'm asking you. When it comes to us immigrants, knowing that we are leaving home with a different culture and mentality, and we are coming into a new space, how do you want them to embrace mentorship?
Well, I often look at like the Jewish community to be a great example that some of us that immigrated from, Cameroon or West Africa or even Africa at large, that the Jewish community has a great example for us to emulate, So we should be looking at our limitations, at the challenges that we face, not as a limitation, but it can become a great asset. That is where a mentor that has really walked that path can provide you with some unwritten rules that can help guide you to move to the next step. So that is why it's really imperative to have a mentor or a couple of mentors, and then choose based on what you aspire to grow in or excel in and follow. So it's a matter of really, really us understanding that in order to navigate this culture, which is, different from our background, we have to be grounded in having a strong mentor to make that happen for us, because it's going to enable us grow, in confidence, and also, again, accelerate our career path and even grow in many other aspects in life, even not limited to career, but spiritually.
Thank you. Any more to say on that, Dr. Ngafeeson?
Yes. So I'm thinking about something that one of my uncles said to me, and he was attending my graduation from the master's degree program. And then he made a comment that when I investigated became so real and so true. So I thought to share his wisdom here. And what he said was, he says, when you come to any country, when you come to America, he said, the person who picks you up at the airport
is
very important.
Yep.
Because that person will become, as it were, your first mentor in your first few hours in this country.
Yeah.
And they will determine what you do and how you act in many, many ways. When he said that, I sat back and I took an inventory and I thought about the guy who picked me up at the airport. And in just following that early trail that of those early days, I came to discover that the person who picked me up at the airport and the person in whose home I was dropped, all of them had doctorate and terminal degrees. And that is what I ended up with. I had never thought about that. He was saying that at my master's graduation. And I said, and he just mentioned that. And then when I just look back, so I was not even aware of the
influence and the impact,
or the philosophy or whatever, and then it just dawned on me. So what I want to say is that the people that you commit your life to, even in the little mundanest things of life, like picking you up at the airport, like staying in their home, the person you spend your first night in the US in their home, whatever they say to you will determine how successful you become here. In fact, if they give you the wrong advice, you are going to really suffer in that for some long time before someone else will come and uproot that idea. And if they pass on to you the right advice, it would take a really long time for somebody to come and uproot that and sow some tares in your life. So very, very important.
I agree with you, and I can attest to that. We've been privileged and honored to host many, many families, and sometimes not even related to us, and as many as 5 people, being hosted. And the knowledge that we've impacted them with literally determined the trajectory of what they became in these United States of America. So I could literally attest to what you've actually mentioned, Dr. Ngafeeson, and thank you for emphasizing that point.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It is always true that the first seats have to speak a lot, and it will determine how far you have to go and not how fast. So thank you so much. And I want to throw this to Dr. Ngafeeson first. You're not only a mentor, but you're a great leader. We have thousands now. I'm becoming your great follower. So thanks to Mr. Fidelis for making this happen. I was saying that I'm blessed because I prayed to God to help me, and He's bringing the right people my way. So I know I'm not making mistakes. I'm not putting my feet in the wrong places because I'm becoming so intentional about myself and not putting any talents to waste. So we're talking about mentorship, and you also do, and you have a lot to do with leadership. And this is what I want us to talk about. And this is what I want you not only to educate our viewers now, but to educate me. How does mentorship shape the aspect of leadership development in us?
The way we develop our leadership, or the best way or the easiest way to grow in leadership, is just to watch a leader. See, because like I mentioned a while ago, leadership, just like mentorship, is also caught. My mentor, Mr. John Maxwell, says that it is difficult to grow or to become better when all the example that you have is yourself.
Yes.
So you need to see another person who is doing something probably better than you. And if you can see what they are doing and you can model that in your own life, then you grow. So I would say that mentorship is very pivotal because, again, many things that will make you and me grow in our leadership can be caught and can be done watching a true and a great mentor and leader live their own lives. Now, we live in the age of AI. you can go on ChatGPT and ask ChatGPT who a leader is, or ask ChatGPT on any subject that you want, and ChatGPT will spew you out some real serious information, knowledge. But it's another thing to have what ChatGPT just said. It's another thing to see somebody model it in their lives.
Yes.
Because when that knowledge becomes flesh and lives alongside you, that is more powerful than any ChatGPT can ever spew.
That's true.
Having someone model that for you is very, very important. And when we talk about leadership, probably let me just say here that every time we talk about leadership, many people think about somebody who is standing there and telling other people what to do. And for me, I argue that that is the lowest form of
weakest. Absolutely.
Yeah, because I am just telling you whatever I'm telling you, and then you are expected to follow that. I believe that the greatest and the truest and the rawest form of leadership, if you will, is me, Madison, telling Madison what to do to fulfill that which I have been called to do. To get up every morning and tell me and remind me of what my values are, to remind me of what my purpose is, to get up and to do just the things that fit in the purpose for my life and the things that fit in the values that I've developed around my life, to tell me to do that all day long, all month long, all year long, many years afterwards, and to fulfill my purpose for life. That is true leadership. Now, where does leading others come in? Well, when others see me lead me so well, they want to know how I achieve that. Then that is the chance that I have now to impact them. That's when leadership goes from just self-leadership to others' leadership, where I now am able to impact them because of the life that I have led. So mentorship is key to modeling that for others and making others model it in the life of others too.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Mr. Sangye, anything?
So as I thought about that, I can think about 4 cardinal points, which mentorship can be visualized in mentorship, which basically is modeling responsibility, service, and vision. Because if a mentor has those 4 traits, through those traits, mentorship can now become more about influence and impact. Because if a mentor leads by influence and impact, they are more likely to really achieve greater results over time. And they can help their mentee lead by humility and emotional intelligence rather than from intellect. Because with intellect, you're bound to have shortfalls if there's no humility and no emotional intelligence. And one thing that I've actually learned too from Dr. Madison is through one of your talks, you talk about, anybody that you meet on the street, which Yvette and I also are having a discussion about that. Anybody that you meet on the street, just give them 10 on 10. Every human would love to be listened to. Even the craziest people that we meet in our psych facilities, they would love to be listened to. And some of my most therapeutic conversations, and they come from me literally sitting down and getting to that person's level and literally hearing them out. Believe it or not, it changes the outcome. So that is what I would have to speak to that as far as just leading through influence and impact rather than ramming things down anybody's throat. It just doesn't work that way.
Thank you. So you skipped to talking about impact, which I wanted to ask you about building legacy. And that's already you impacting, because once you tend to impact whatever you have in you, then that's how we tend to build a community with a good legacy. So I'm enjoying this conversation, and thank you so much. It's really changing my life so much. And just like Mr. Sangye said the other day, I was like, if I'm getting into 2026, in this last month, the things I've learned, man, I didn't learn in the first 10 months of the year. I was like, Dr. Ngafeeson telling me today that when I meet you, it doesn't matter if you're crazy, it doesn't matter how you look. I'm giving you a 10 on 10. I'm like, I have to start going to God and asking for forgiveness. That means I've missed a lot of things that I'm going to take that with me into 2026. I put that into my diary. I said, it doesn't matter. Even if I get into an Uber, guess what? I'm not leaving you without getting one thing from you. It's either I leave you with one thing or I get one thing. It should be that way. That's what I told myself. And I really, really thank you so much for that. So looking further, I noticed that life doesn't really often bring us just to the people we seem to like or the people we want to walk to. It is diverse world. We meet people with different characters. We meet different people from different religious group, and we still have to be who we are to them, either being a mentee or a mentor. So it brings me to a question of how do values, especially when it comes to faith influence, how do our faith turn of influence effective mentorship? Are there any red flags you have to look for? Are there any stop? My son says mom is yellow, so stop and take precautions. What are some of those things you want us to be careful about or to look for or to take note of?
Fidelis, you want to go first?
Well, I can. I always have this this expression that even while I'm reflecting in some of life's challenges, I often say that we are spiritual beings having a human experience. And once I think about it in that domain or in that perspective, I realize that when we are strong spiritually, we have that solid foundation and it spills into our physical realm. And so the value and faith provides that moral compass for mentorship. And without values and faith, guess what? We're just going to be spinning around without necessarily having that grounding. And, it basically shapes how decisions are made, how people are treated, and how success is defined. And, making it a habit to be grounded in the word, reading your word, praying consistently, it changes things tremendously. And the faith-grounded mentorship emphasizes service, stewardship, and integrity, and compassion, ensuring that growth does not just come from a place of experience, but also a place of character. So if we are grounded in the faith, it really fine-tunes our character, and we are bound to be effective mentors.
Great.
Yeah, I would like to add that, so mentorship we already established is, this relationship that we are able to bequeath wisdom, we're able to bequeath experience to the people that are under us. But I think that values provide the context for why we do this.
Yes.
And this is why I say it this way, is that, so imagine that you were given somebody at work to train, so that they're a less experienced person. Maybe they were just hired by your company and you had to be a preceptor to them, or you had to be their trainer until they get their hands on, a hold of the job that they just acquired. And let me say that you just did that because, you were asked to do that. They forced you to do that. If you don't do that, they will not give you a check at the end of the month. Now, that will be very different, right, from somebody who has taken somebody under their wings, invested everything for them to become a better person at that job. But so what made the difference was the values then, because the other person understood that this is a human being that needs help, and they invested themselves to do that. The other person did it for the sake of a check. So the value to that other person is do it so that you can get paid. The other person said, do it because this human being deserves to be trained well, so that they can become knowledgeable just like you two became knowledgeable. So I would say that values really make the radical difference in mentorship. Why do you do what you do? The why of a thing is more important, if you ask me, than the what of it. The what is mentorship, the what is training, but the why. And that is where values become important. That is where faith becomes important. Because if you're a person of faith like I am, then my faith informs me that I can sound like a clanging cymbal, that I can prophesy and speak with tongues that men and angels can not, can barely try to understand. But if I don't have love, then I am nothing. Meaning that my values mean everything. But but what are we talking about? I'm speaking in the tongues of angels. Yes, but you don't have love. Well, but I'm already speaking in the tongues of men. Yes, but you don't have love. But I can do all of this thing, technology. I can, bring millions to my company and all that. Yes, but you don't have love.
You have love.
So see, that is where the rubber meets the road. It's where the value system comes from, and that's where faith and where we come from in terms of our value system informs us even professionally and in the workplace.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. You touched a point there, and a couple of weeks, I think 2 weeks ago, I did a video regarding my why. And why did the Spirit lead me to do a video talking about my why, or why do you do a thing and your purpose? So a month ago, I had a patient at work, and getting to know him, he was just being treated like any other man on the street. But I got to know him to be a very important personality here in the United States, working right from the White House, and others did not know. I don't know why I was so drawn to him, but I think the way I interacted with him got him thinking too, and he got to research me online and started telling me things I did not tell anybody, and was directing me to where my recently published book was. And I was like, okay, what is going on here? And he was asking for a copy. So I started asking, but who are you? In my 10 to 13 years of working, I've never seen a patient do this deep. So I started becoming a little bit fishy, and we got to a point where we shared a lot of things, and it made me to understand, just like you said it, you can have those values, but we are not interested in the what. We are interested in the why.
Yeah,
because once you don't know what your why is, that purpose is, you're just there. You're just there. You're not accomplishing. And that is what I wanted everyone to know. It is, first of all, important for you to know that why, and then the value you bring would make sense to others. And I was sharing to one of my pastor friends. I was telling me, I'm like, some of the visions God is giving me these days, I'm afraid to, because these small events, I don't think I can carry. I was just so terrified. And he was sharing his own experience, and he taught me one thing I learned. He said, Yvette, you're not just going to get up one morning and you build a crowd or a large community. He said, if in 1 year God lets you change the life of one person, you'll never know. Maybe that person will in turn change the lives of 1,000, and that is you still influencing. I was like, oh wow. You see how we think sometimes? We think like we must have 100 presented to our faces before we could feel like we are doing anything. Because I got so discouraged, and I was telling him that everything I did in 2026 and 2025, I just felt like, he said, no, you never know. In as much as you take time, it takes time to build. You would only see it sometimes in the future. And you getting to talk about that why again today really gives me that understanding of how important it is. And that is really what I want everybody to understand again today, as we have learned and we are still learning. So as we gradually dive down to the last moments and the last minutes, I want to give the next 5 to 10 minutes to you, my newly founded mentor, Dr. Ngafeeson, and to you. I'm not giving up. Mr. Sangye for anything. But I want to drink from Dr. Ngafeeson's well so much. Just in the week, I've had 3 people. Immediately, my friends saw you. They were like, "Ha, Yvette, is that your personality now? Look at the people you're dining and whining with." I say in 2026, there's no room for failure because the men God is bringing my way, I have to represent them and represent them well. From your heart of hearts, coming as a mentor, coming as a leader, from us knowing ourselves as people of the faith. If you have to leave our viewers today, what is that important thing you want them to wake up every morning looking forward to go to bed knowing that, yes, this is what I wake up for and this is what I take with me to bed? What is that one thing to you? I'll go with you first, Dr. Ngafeeson.
Well, thank you for that question. And the question is very important to me because a little over 12 years ago, I decided that for the rest of my life, for as long as I live, I will live just for 5 things. I narrowed my life down to 5 things. I narrowed my life down to becoming the best husband I can be to my dear wife, Claudia.
Thank you.
Becoming the best father that I can be to my 3 children, to our 3 children.
Thank you.
Being the best professor I can be to my students.
Thank you.
Being the best citizen of Cameroon that I can be to my country, serving my country, Cameroon. And lastly, becoming the best leader that I can be to the hundreds and thousands of people that look up to me as a mentor around the world.
Wonderful.
So if I were to tell somebody what to wake up thinking about is like, ask yourself, why am I here? And when I leave this place, what is it that I want to leave behind? A few years ago, I think it was 2 years ago, we were in a Q&A question with my mentor, Mr. Maxwell. And when it came my time to ask a question, I asked him, I said, what are 4 or 5 important legacies that somebody should leave behind when they are no longer here?
Yeah.
And then he looked at me and he kind of turned the question around and he said, don't seek to leave something for other people. Seek to leave something in people. So don't leave legacy for, leave legacy in.
Mm.
And when he said that, it really got me thinking, because generally mentors say some things and they kind of take you aback and you go back and you're ruminating over what they just said and getting the wisdom that it meant. So I decided that for the rest of the time that God gives me to be on this earth, I want to leave a legacy in my wife, in my children, in my students, in my country, and in all of the people that I lead around the world.
Thank you.
I want to be able to not just about just knowledge or about just money or about wealth and all of that. I want to make my life really about investing in people. And that is what is most important to me. So get up every morning and ask yourself,
yes,
why am I here? Get up every morning and answer the question. Because I am here for this, I will do everything I can, humanly possible, to make sure I leave a legacy in the people that I have been sent to, and to do what I ought to do, so that the day I leave here, I would have, like one of my late mentors, Dr. Madison Ngafeeson said, I would have died empty. He says, live life to the full, but die empty, empty of all of the dreams, empty of all of the vision and the purposes that God wanted you to do. So die empty, die like Jesus Christ. He says, it is finished. Die like Paul. He says, I fought a good fight, I've kept the faith. There's just one thing remaining, it's a crown. Die like that. Die empty. So that would be my advice. Live life to the full. Die empty.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. When I listened to one of Dr. Miles Morris' messages, he said, God has given us a lot of talent. That day I could not sleep. He said, go to the cemetery. Do you know a lot of books that are in there? Do you know a lot of gifts? I was like, if there anything God gives me, whether you say it is good or it's not good, I know it's just to meet somebody, even if it's that one person. So I'm not going to like say, oh, it's not important. How do I know if it's not important for me, it might be important for another person? That he has said again. He was like, if you go to the cemetery, he said there are doctors lying in there that they never were able to bring up all those skills. He said there are 1,000,001 books in there. People never got to write them. What are you waiting for? He has given you all these books. We need to make good use of it. So thank you. Thank you. So we're going to be leaving legacies, not with, but in people. And through that, they are going to replicate better. Thank you. Thank you so much. So thank you. Yes, Mr. Fidelis.
Well, you just echoed some of the sentiments that I had with Dr. Miles Monroe being, one of my go-to persons that I often listen to, being of pleasant memory, and also coming to know Dr. Ngafeeson more closely. He's been to our home here. We also met in Florida. He's been somebody that I have been looking up to, also as a mentor and advice in many aspects in life. So I strive to be the best husband, to be the best father, and also to really grow professionally. And it's thanks to the guidance of people that I meet along the way that can also be mentors like that. But that said, I want to be able to really, really live a life of integrity, purpose, and also of service, which I hope to also transcend or transfer to other people that I lead, so that they can really, really also think independently and have that multiplied effect. That way, it's not, it is not a place of dependence, but really projecting them to the point of really being independent. So that is really my goal, by the grace of God. And
thank you.
Hopefully I continue to grow in that every day.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
You.
It's been an honor that you're actually hosting me on the show. And I didn't just punch you. You saw that when you brought that desire and that goal and what you're looking for, I was shooting for goal. I wanted to bring somebody that I believe is a lot more grounded, that has done this for, close to at least a decade and a half. With that work of experience, would make this discussion much more impactful, that can be of benefit to not only I and you, but a greater percentage of your audience. So thank you for granting us your platform.
You're welcome at any time. And thank you so much, Dr. Ngafeeson. I really, really want to say I'm really, really grateful. I felt like, I told Mr. Sangye that I felt like the heavens opened and they sent me an angel, because when I said, I know you're my mentor, apart from my spiritual father, Mr. Sangye, you're my mentor. I don't know who else to go to. So when he said, no, you're too good for that, I was like, hey, I said, this me, I'm only trying. I don't even have any connection. Now am I going to start sending email and say, sir, I want you to leave something important in the lives of these people? And actually, God has given me a burden. And just like you said, we have to leave a legacy with whoever we meet at any point in life. And I'm praying that God gives me that grace and the strength to be able to do it and not to fail at any point in time. I'm trying to make sure I train myself to become the best at what I do and to fully provide to anybody who comes my way what God wants me to impact in them. I cannot thank you so much that in this short time of notice, you made yourself available. Please say me well to your family and tell your wife I'm also a wife, and I appreciate her so much for giving me that opportunity. As for Mr. Sangye and his wife, I'm still coming for them. They are my go-to all the time. Thank you so much, sir. But before we go, this is what I normally ask. If I get to the United States and I want to locate Dr. Ngafeeson, how does he want me to get to him? Is it social media platform? Is there a specific place? I need all your pages for me to start engaging, because I'm already saving money to join you in Kigali. I have to go. If I told Mrs. Sangye that if that's the only trip I take next year, so long as it is impacting me and making me better, oh yeah, I'm packing my bags. So I want to get all the full contacts of two of you and let the viewers to be able to join your community and drink from this well of knowledge. That is what I want to do before we close.
Yeah, we'll definitely make those links and those contacts available to you. And
thank you.
It is my hope that I also join Dr. Ngafeeson to that trip. So by the grace of God,
once my boss says yes, me student, I have no choice.
Yeah, some major commitments that have to happen, around mid next year. So once those are in place, it will open a lot more doors and avenues for us to travel the world and enrich these experiences, and by the grace of God, change lives.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ngafeeson. Any specific handles you want us to follow? Any specific handles you want us to post so that people can get to you?
Yeah, so I have many. So I'm on Instagram, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, and even on TikTok. But I want to give just two. The first is my LinkedIn profile. That's my professional profile. So someone can go to if you type Madison Ngafeeson, just my names, you'll be able to get me on LinkedIn. Then I also have a community called Lead Today, and that is a Facebook group. So if you search for Lead Today, you will find it. And then if you send a request, I can accept you come into our community. Now, anything that I do, whether it's my mentorship program or it's my conferences that I hold around the world, you can get all of that information if you are in the Lead Today Facebook group.
All right. Thank you so much. And officially, we've come to the close and the end of this interview. As we dive into 2026, I'm going to do as much to work closely so that I become the best version. As you have poured into us today, it is my prayer that God replenishes and take you to the highest height so that we can continue to benefit, and He will bless you spiritually, physically, financially, and keep you long so that I become the best I can be, and my viewers too would stand to testify of God's goodness in our lives. Thank you so much. I wish you and your family a very, very happy 2026. And even as we celebrate the birth of Christ, may it be a significant change to bring us new growth and new rebirth. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Yvette. Thank you for having us.
Yes, may you have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Thank you.